welcome back to the Schmitter's 100 Acre Woods. So out here have another camp edition of the 100 Acre Woods. So if you haven't checked out some of my earlier videos or some of the first videos, check those out. But basically, camp out here in Brown County, Indiana is getting water. We ran most of the water from a new meter up the hill, and now we're connecting it back to the existing meter so that it can have it fed from both ways. So we have the Mini out here today and working on getting a new 2-inch line that we have run there back across the building. So this is the back side of the dorm building. This is where the current water goes into the building. So we went ahead and dug it up here. There's a valve just to the left hand side of where we're digging, so we know the water goes in here. Just want to dig this up and cut it off so that whenever we start digging out the old line, we don't accidentally snag it and tear the water out under the building. So go ahead and just spot it by hand and cut it off. Then we go back to the meter and work over there. Okay, so this is where the water goes into the building. We found there's a piece of PVC there, 1 inch going in. So we went ahead and cut it off there. And the meter's back that direction, so we're going to go dig up the meter next. But we wanted to dig this up and disconnect it, so whenever we start digging through here and we hit this, we don't rip it out from the building. So next up to the meter. So here, pretty much the same idea as at the building. So we dig down and get the line that comes out of the meter. So we know it goes from 1 inch coming out of the meter and then steps up to a 2. So we want to dig that up and then go ahead and get it cut off. That way again, whenever we start digging this, we're not tearing out the pipe that goes back into the meter and feeds that. So get it completely disconnected with the gap, and then we can start digging this out and putting in the new 2-inch line. There is a current 2-inch line that's PVC that runs behind this building, but it's had numerous leaks and has been pulling apart. So we're replacing it all with the poly that we've been using, and eventually we'll tie this back around at the bottom of the hill where we have water currently, which is where we got to last time we worked at the camp. So here's just kind of a sped up version of using the Mini. So again, just basically what we did here, because there's quite a bit of rock, but we know that there's already this line here, basically just digging out the old line as we go. So just kind of digging it up and then breaking it into small sections so we can pull it out. But we know that the rock's already been broken there, since that's where the line is now, and just getting it dug out and then able to put the new in. So then skip down to the end of the building here and have to kind of dig out a little bit of a spot to get the tracks flat. It is one thing with the Mini that, you know, your tilt is determined by how your tracks sit, since there are no outriggers that can help level. Okay, so we got this dug all the way back. It has the meter hooked up. So now I'm going to put a valve down on that end, and then I'm going to work on switching to the grading bucket to backfill. And as I mentioned here, this is our homemade grading bucket that we made. height, so it's just a bucket like would go on the front of a tractor. We cut it down so it was only 3 feet wide, and then made it so that it would articulate, so it'll rotate both ways. Just kind of help accommodate any grades or anything. So able to use this, which works really well for backfilling because you can kind of open it up and use it to scoop in the dirt without having teeth that stick down to tear that up. And with the controls, it's pretty easy just to glide over the top of like grass or the existing dirt and just get the loose stuff and not dig up further. And this area is pretty wet, so kind of went in clumps, but was able to just kind of sweep this in, and then on the other hand, or on the left hand side, able to kind of use that tilt to kind of grade that in at a little bit of an angle. But just kind of getting this in again. Haven't used this bucket a whole lot, so just trying to get used to the geometry of it. With how we made it, it is a little off just from how kind of a normal bucket functions, so it takes a little bit of getting used to, but slowly get the hang of it toward the end. At this point, we've gotten most of the water in and doing the tap in the middle to get the building connected. We didn't get a whole lot of footage after this, just kind of lost track of the day and trying to get this backfilled and everything. So basically, I track this in a little bit and then work on backfilling the other half once the tap's done, so that that building has water again. But that was essentially it for the day. Next up is kind of working on getting water down the hill and connecting back to the existing line. So hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. We'll catch you next time.